Welcome to Encounter Wargaming, I'm Jay, and today I'm going to be showing you how to make a cool little chaos portal with an old smartphone. So, we all have these old devices, right? Like, we get a new phone all the time because our old one, the battery doesn't last so well, or, whatever. It's just getting slow and it's getting old and whatever. But these devices still work, right? Even when we take our SIM cards out of them, like, we still have Wi-Fi on them and stuff like that, and, like, they're still legitimate devices. But a lot of the time they get thrown in a drawer, like this one here. I actually had in a drawer for, like, ever. And then I saw this done a million times online, and I thought that would be a wicked cool idea. So I've done it. And in fact, I've tried to do it in such a simple way that you guys could do your own in like a weekend, really. Like drying time aside, it's totally an afternoon's work, but you're gonna have to wait for stuff to dry, of course, an entire day and stuff. But for the most part, if you started this on a Saturday morning, you could be done by Sunday evening and have an awesome terrain piece for your next 40k or Age of Sigmar battle. So without further ado, let's get into actually making this thing. So start with the old device. Here I've got my old phone, which is the Note 2, and I decided just to take the case off, just to make it a little skinnier, so that I can kind of have more room to play, I guess. So I'll start by measuring all three dimensions. Obviously, I want to create a cavity inside this piece that this phone will be able to fit into, so just mark them down on a piece of paper and base all my measurements off that. And I'm just using a scrap of foam core I have left over from an old project. And I think I decided to make the actual entire thing like 1.5 inches or 2 inches bigger than the actual device. And that'll be my basic footprint for the entire gate, if you know what I mean. And I decided just to bevel the corners just to make it look good. And then for the opening, I want to make it just slightly smaller than the phone. So the hole on the inside, I think I made just a couple of millimeters smaller than the dimensions of the phone, and that way it'll just kind of sit inside and be nice. Of course, I have to create a cavity for it to go around, so I've decided, because of the thickness of the phone, to do sort of 2 thicknesses of foam core, so about 1 centimeter. It's just less than 1 centimeter, so we'll see how that goes, but basically just the 2 U-shapes I'm gluing onto a full back, the full shape of the entire gate, and then the one with the hole in the center, of course, as the front piece. And now I just take a little extra piece I had and just make it for a base, so it'll stand on its own. And then of course, I have to try the device in the thing just to make sure everything lines up. And it turns out that the foam core is, like I said, just a little bit thicker than the thickness of the foam. So I decided to put just these popsicle sticks in there, just to sort of wedge in behind it and make it fit tight up against the front so that you don't see, so it doesn't wobble around and so that you don't see the thing. And yeah, perfect. So at this point I just realized that my corners weren't quite flush, and as well as the sides, the 4 pieces that I glued together weren't quite all flush with each other. So I'm just taking my knife now and going around the outside and trimming everything up flush so that I have flat sides, and then I'll just put my base back on. Sometimes you gotta backtrack a little bit, and in fact you'll find in this tutorial that I backtrack quite a few times. But so now I'm just basically making a lid that'll go inside the opening at the top, just to kind of seal it shut and make it not look so much like a phone case. And then of course I'm covering the entire thing in glue and sand. I basically want to create like a rock texture for this entire piece, and the easiest way to do that is with the sand. So now, like I say, sometimes you have to backtrack. I just realized there's no staircase. How are they supposed to walk into a gate if there's no staircase for them to walk up into said gate? So I decided, even though I've already put my sand on, that I have to cut some pieces for a staircase. So I've decided it's 3 steps high, and each step is going to be 2 layers thick. Now, of course, because the base is 1 layer thick, 1 layer of foam core thick, I'm just going to put a single step there, and then double up the next 2. So I want it to be the width of the base plus half the width of the step that I put on the bottom, I believe is what I decided on. And so I'll cut 2 of those larger pieces, and then 2 pieces just the size of the 1 step itself. There you go, cutting some small ones. And then basically just hot glue those 2 together, like hot glue each of the 2 pieces to the other so that you have each individual step. And then actually start hot gluing it onto the piece. I'm just scraping the large sand off so that there's not too much of a drastic difference there, to kind of cover my mistake. And measure out so that the steps are exactly center. And then I actually want to glue the second step on first so that I have a surface underneath to glue the bottom step on. That'll bring it level with the base that I made. And then the final step, and then of course we're gonna have to catch the staircase up to the rest of it. And if you'll notice, there's cracks all over my first layer of sand. So what I'm gonna do here is just take some more PVA and give my steps a good first layer of sand, because of course, like I say, I want to catch them up to the rest of the stuff. But while I'm doing this, I can actually use this opportunity to fix a lot of the flaws in my first round of sand. As you can see here, especially on the edges where you have layers of foam core, you'll find the glue really soaks in, and so you'll still see those seams between the layers. And in fact, just putting a second layer of glue and a second layer of sand does wonders for filling that right back up. And of course, I need to put a second layer on the seam on the lid and catching the staircase up once again. Again, it's layers of foam core, so I'm going to need a second layer of sand on that. And then it's painting time. So, as usual, I'm going to start with my Rust-Oleum Brown Espresso Brown. I like to use rust paint because it seals in all of the texture, all of the sand. I don't have to worry about it chipping off later. And then once that's dry, it's just dry brushing with a nice dark gray, sort of like a Dawnstone type color. And finish off the dry brush with a very light sort of bone color, just to bring all of the edges of all the texture to life and really make it pop. So then I want to make this look like a chaos gate, so I'm going to start putting little chaos symbols all around, just having fun with it. Obviously I've decided to start with like the symbols of the 4 chaos gods there on the corners, and then I'm just kind of making up things in between, have fun with it, make them look really creepy and like occulty looking. Put a lot of arrows in there, because Chaos loves their arrows. For some reason, there's arrows on everything. And, yeah. So, I'm just having fun with it. Trying to make them look glowing, though, is the plan. So, once I've got my sort of medium blue color, I'm going to put on a very light blue, like ice blue color, just to make them really look like they're glowing. But you'll find, even after this second layer of paint, that they don't quite pop. As you can see here, they do look pretty cool, but I really want them to look like they're glowing. So I'm just going to finish it off with a very, very thin line of white inside all of my ice blue lines. And that'll basically take it from the 3 tones, make it really look like it's popping out of the concrete, and look all magical and mystical and chaotic as I want them to. And as my final step to tie it in with all the other terrain pieces that I've done lately, also to cover a few of my mistakes, I've decided just to put these vines on. These ones are from Battlegrounds, from Army Painter, but I've also in the past used moss and lichen and other things that are pretty much the same deal. And that's just PVAing it on in certain spots wherever I think it, I want to cover some defects in my paint job or any little cracks in the glue sand. Just go crazy with it. Cover it all up like the vines have been growing over for millennia, or hundreds of years at least. And then, as always though, once we put the original lichen on and it's dried, we're going to have to finish it off with just some PVA and water. Get it really watered down, and you want to really just soak that lichen in the water glue mixture. And what that'll do is I'll just ensure that it doesn't fall off in the future, that it's not spongy anymore, it's actually very hard to the touch. Which will give it a lot of durability. Also, it helps stick it to the actual sand surface. Sometimes it doesn't stick that well, and just sort of pushing it down with the brush and getting it all nice and soaked in PVA really ensures that it stays on and it's never going to come off in the future. And then all we have to do is just wait for that to dry. So there's the badass Chaos Portal, fully complete and pretty much ready for play. It's got the device in there. As you can see, this is just some random portal I found on YouTube. I'm sure there are other better ones out there. It doesn't really matter. You can pretty much do anything you could do with a smartphone, right? And run that on here. So if you have some kind of MP4, or if you are an animator and want to do something really cool, yeah, just play it on your phone and throw the phone inside. It's really just that simple. So the white glue on the lichen is not fully dried at this point, but I really wanted to just show this to you guys, get this tutorial up so you guys could check it out. Got my little Space Marine Jim Bob there, he's hanging out just for scale, and I think this turned out pretty good. I think this will be fun to use in a campaign or in a normal 40k game. In fact, it could even be used for Age of Sigmar as like a realm gate or anything like that. So I hope you guys enjoyed that tutorial, my interpretation of a chaos portal using an old smartphone. Now, like I say, you can use any device. It's simply a matter of measuring it beforehand and changing the measurements to suit whatever device, a tablet, an iPhone, an Android phone. It really doesn't matter. Hell, even one of those old iPod touches or something like that, right? Like any touch screen device that will play videos can be used in this way, I guess. So I think it turned out great. I don't know about you guys, but I think it looks awesome. So I hope that was a good one. That being said, if you like these training tutorials, please hit the subscribe button. It goes a long way to help us here, especially if you comment and hit that like button, because that just boosts us up in the search engines and stuff like that. Plus, I would love to hear your thoughts on this. What do you think I could have done better or different? Again, I tried to make it as simple as possible, so it's the kind of thing that you guys can just kind of do on a lazy weekend or whatever, just a fun little project when you're bored. Yeah. And it's an excellent use for a device that would probably either sit in a drawer or go into a landfill or something horrible like that. Some people recycle their electronics, but I say if it still works, why not use it, right? If you got it, especially if it's sitting in a drawer somewhere or something, just collecting dust. Like, come on, guys, these are perfectly good electronics. Anyway. If you really like these videos, as well as subscribing and commenting, please go down to the description below and check out our Patreon campaign. For as little as $1 a video, hell, even $1 a month if you really wanted to, there's a whole bunch of extra bonuses for supporting us on Patreon, and it just helps us build terrain all the time, keep updated on the various gaming systems that we do, and more or less just keep the lights on, keep a roof over our heads. So check that out if you really want to help us out. It'll help you out a lot more too, because like I say, you get a whole bunch more content and it just generally increases your Encounter Wargaming experience. So I hope you guys enjoyed that tutorial. I had a lot of fun building it, and we'll see you at our next encounter.
Hey everybody, I'm Adam.
And I'm Jay.
We are Encounter Wargaming.
And we wanted to celebrate hitting our 1,500 subscribers with giving some stuff away. What are we giving away, Adam?
Fort Bane! Yeah. Alright, we're calling this the 2,500 subscriber Forge Bane giveaway, because that's the target we need to hit to give this puppy away.
That's right. So the first thing you need to do is share this video, the video you are watching right now. And
then click subscribe on YouTube.
if you haven't already.
That's it for one entry.
And the more you share it, hopefully, the more people we can get to hit subscribe and hit that 2,500.
Woohoo!
But there are other ways to win as well.
Tell them about it.
Well, you can follow us on Twitch. That will also get you an entry. So you subscribe on YouTube, follow us on Twitch. On top of that,
support us on Patreon for 5 big buckaroo entries.
Crazy. So also all the people that already support us on Patreon, don't worry, you're also 5 entries. But also, you can hit subscribe on Twitch. Subscribing on Twitch will get you another 5 entries into the contest.
So good, and all of this to say thank you guys for all the support. We appreciate it very much. We've come a long way, and it's because of you.
It's true. It's been a wild ride, and thanks for all the support, all the help, and we want to give you some cool stuff as a thank you.
Awesome. So hey, remember to share this video, and guys, I think that's it. So we'll see you at our next encounter.
Like a monkey in a rocket on his way.